Welcome everybody to the San Antonio River here in San Antonio, Texas. My name is Jair and you're watching Urban Adventures. If you're new to the channel, let me know where you're watching from and I'll give you a shout out. I am currently on the south side of the Riverwalk. I am actually going to make my way north and we're gonna head through downtown and we're gonna walk through the Pearl District. So we'll begin our descent upwards here. And let's see how long this is going to take us. Hey, good morning, Dave. Welcome out there in Bangor, Maine. Just getting started on this live stream. We're gonna walk about a good 3 to 4 miles today. So this live stream will probably be about a good 2 to 3 hours, I'm estimating. This is one of the floodgates here on the Riverwalk. So we'll see a couple of those floodgates throughout the river here. Here are some buoys right up here. Now I am walking on the part of the Riverwalk that a lot of tourists don't really venture out too much, either because they don't know it's here or they don't really go any further out than the downtown area. But let's make our descent upwards. It's a very beautiful, nice fall day here. A little bit breezy, which is good for these kind of walks. Hey, hello Nabul, welcome, thanks for joining. I just got started. So here is another shot of the Riverwalk looking south. Look over there, there is a boat right there. Imagine living on the Riverwalk and being able to boat to your house, isn't that cool? But since you're just joining me, Nabul, and everyone else, I'm gonna be walking about a good maybe 2 to 3 miles. You're still at the Porsche event, awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely catch the replay for that, Nabul. So I'm gonna be walking a good 2 to 3 miles headed north. I'm gonna try to cover the entire Riverwalk area. So again, this area here is called Southtown. Lots of people walking on the river here today. And then probably as we get into the downtown area, we'll see a lot more foot traffic. But this is just somewhat of a chill stream, you guys. If you're new here, I don't really joke around too much or do any of that, but I do try to give you guys a little bit of information about where we are and the history of different places, especially here in my hometown of San Antonio. Well, I hope you're having fun at that event, Nabul. So here's some historical information here for you guys. So there actually used to be an old mill here. And it's actually been here since 1859. And it was by a German immigrant named Karl Gunther. Now, part of his factory is actually still here. If we look a little bit upward, we might be able to see it. It's kind of covered by some of these trees here.
Well, the good thing is they don't carry
But that is the Pioneer Flour Factory, which if you've seen my video on Southtown, you might have seen it in the video itself. But let's see if we can see it from here. Right up ahead, we can see the Tower of the Americas. So we're just in the shadow of downtown, I guess you could say. But we're making our way out of the Southtown area and we're headed right into downtown here. Yeah, it's a very peaceful area. I agree, Dave. And like I mentioned before, not a lot of people, when they visit the Riverwalk here in San Antonio, venture out this far. But if you're somebody that lives along this area of San Antonio, this is definitely a really nice place to come and take a stroll. I was seeing a lot of people walk here with their dogs earlier. A lot of people jogging and exercising here. It looked really beautiful when the leaves start to change colors. It's still a little bit too hot for that here. But probably by next month, all of these leaves should be in their festive fall colors. I see some people kayaking up ahead. So if you come here on Sunday mornings like today, for example, you might see a few people that rent out these kayaks. And the people will actually kayak all the way down the river here. So that's another activity you can do here on the Riverwalk. If you're looking for something fun and a different way to explore the city. Oh, there they are. Look at that, you guys, kayaks. There's a boat right there for my friend Nabul out there. But let's continue our walk because we have quite a long way to go. Hello there, Petya. Greetings from Bulgaria. She says, exciting walk with pleasant company and our wonderful guide, Jair, have a nice walk, dear friends. Oh, thank you so much, Petya, for joining and for always commenting on my videos. I appreciate that you guys enjoy these. Oh, there's an echo in here. Walking by Arsenal Street. I appreciate that you guys enjoy these walks. Starting to sweat just a little bit here. So the Riverwalk actually descends about 15 miles through the center of the city of San Antonio. Right now, I don't know how many miles we're gonna actually walk. I know I said about maybe 3 or 4, but it probably feels a lot longer than that. But yes, the Riverwalk is, if you wanted to walk it in its entirety, it is about 15 miles long from start to finish. And let's see what we have here. Let's see what we have here. So this is called this is actually the United States Arsenal. It says that San Antonio was the main supply for protected travelers and settlers on the west frontier in the mid-1800s. The United States Army purchased land here on the river in 1859 and built a permanent depot to store ships, arms, and ammunition. Oh, interesting. So this is a military arsenal here. Here's a shot of what it actually used to look like back then. Hey, good morning, Tony. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Yeah, quite a bit of history here in San Antonio, Nabul. Here's another plaque here that talks about the United States Arsenal. So it was actually located where the Alamo is today, and it looks like it was moved to this location in 1858. And then this neighborhood that we're walking through is pretty historic in itself. We're walking by the King William district, which is one of the oldest neighborhoods in San Antonio. It was one of the very first German neighborhoods here in the city of San Antonio. It features some very beautiful Victorian style houses, which if you've seen my Southtown video, you'll get to see a little bit of what that area looks like. I plan on doing a full live stream there again at some point, because I want to check out some of the Halloween decorations that are there. Oh, my mom lives down the river by the missions. Nice, Tony. Very nice. Yeah, the missions are another very old historic area here in San Antonio, very important to the city's history. Just like the Alamo. But we should be getting very close to downtown here. Now right behind me is the site of the very first Spanish TV station in the whole country in San Antonio, which was the first Spanish-speaking television station in the whole country. The station was actually torn down when they built these apartments, but the only thing left of the old TV station is this antenna that's right up here. It's this old TV antenna. I don't know if they still use it. But a little bit of a fun history fact there. I think I've got to make my way up so I can cross over to the other side here. So there are a few areas on this part of the Riverwalk that you have to actually get onto the street level to cross over. There are not too many bridges on this side. But as you guys can see, we are moving a lot closer to the downtown area, a lot closer to the busier part of downtown here. And let's see here. Here's some little bit of history about the King William area. So some of these houses are actually still in this very area here. Hello, Colleen. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Which I'll tell you guys a little bit more about that neighborhood when we do that live stream from there again. Oh, Tony says he has family in San Antonio that camps at Brackenridge Park every Easter. Never done it yourself? Yeah, Tony, I myself have never done it actually. But yeah, it is a kind of a tradition here in San Antonio for people to camp out at Brackenridge every single year. Brackenridge is a very nice park, by the way. That's where the San Antonio Zoo is. That's where the Japanese tea garden is at. Highly recommend checking that park out if you're going to be visiting San Antonio. Welcome to all the people joining me on this live stream here. This is a chill walk around the Riverwalk here, so just enjoying the views here, I guess you can call them. Enjoying the nice weather. We're coming up to another one of these floodgates. So we saw our first floodgate right at the beginning of this live stream. So we're gonna make our way back down to the Riverwalk here in just a second. There's a statue of Francisco Madero. Francisco Madero was a Mexican revolutionary and president known as the Apostle of Democracy. He was born in 1873 to an affluent family with long Texas connections. He ran against Mexican ruler Porfirio Diaz in the 1910 presidential election. So if you walk along the Riverwalk, you might see some statues like this. Statues commemorating history and different people who are important to the history of San Antonio and the history of Texas as a whole. Here's some church bells ringing right over there. So now we've crossed over to the other side. We're right under Nueva Street. Now this part of the Riverwalk here is actually the deepest part. So they say the water here is about 20 feet deep. So that's where they store the boats. But yes, the water here on this part of the Riverwalk, about 20 feet deep. So the reason that you have all these floodgates back that way, and we'll see a couple more once we reach the northern part of the Riverwalk, is because a lot of people don't know this, but the Riverwalk is actually a flood control system. So way back in the early 1920s, about 1921 or so, there was a flood that actually ravaged parts of downtown San Antonio. If you can believe it or not, the water was actually as high as this building here. As high as this building right here. And there were many people that drowned, many people that lost property, that lost businesses. So the city decided to create the Riverwalk in order to prevent the city from ever flooding again. The Riverwalk itself was opened in 1941, and it was designed by an architect named Robert Tugman. Here comes another boat here. There's another fellow tour guide. Excuse me, guys. I'm gonna walk this way. Yeah, thank you. We have some people posing with the photo there. And here we are, you guys. We are downtown. Only took us about 25 minutes to start from Southtown and make our way up here. We're walking by the Tower Life building, formerly known as the Transit building. It was built in 1929, right before the Great Depression. And I can't really get a good shot of it for you guys, but the Tower Life building is the building that has the American flag sticking out of it here. Now, one interesting thing about this building, let's see if we can find them, is, oh, I see them. There are actually faces carved on the side of the building here. So let me see if I can point the camera up so you can see them. Don't know if you guys can see the faces at the top of the building here, right there. So when the architects designed this building, they believed that those faces could actually keep out bad spirits. So they were afraid that bad things were going to happen as the construction of this building was happening. So they put these different faces on there, one symbolizing hearing no evil, speaking no evil, and seeing no evil. But of course, the Great Depression happened a year after, so none of those superstitions actually helped. There are also some gargoyles at the top of the building that shoot water down into the Riverwalk here as well. It would be better to get a shot of the Tower Life building from the other side here. We're walking underneath these bridges here. We're walking by what's called Marriage Island. So that little piece of land right there where those people are is known as Marriage Island. The reason that it's called Marriage Island is because couples actually get married there. I'm not sure why they choose that spot to get married, but that's what happens. I actually think there's a wedding going on there right now or something. Let's see. Some kind of event happening there. But let's continue our walk here. Should be coming up to the Riverwalk Amphitheater, which will be over to our left-hand side. Right across from here, we've got the Briscoe Western Art Museum. It was formerly known as the San Antonio Public Library until the library moved to its current location way back in the 1960s. Ooh, what is this here? Oh, cool. They've got some artwork right here for Day of the Dead. And with Day of the Dead or Dia de los Muertos coming up pretty soon, they're gonna have the San Antonio Dia de los Muertos River Parade right here in this area. So I'm hoping to be able to live stream it once that parade starts. And it looks like they're having another event up here. Let me I'm gonna fix the camera a bit really quick here. There we go. So right over here, this is not the bridge from the movie Selena, but this is Rosita's bridge. It's a bridge dedicated to Rosita Fernandez. She was a local Tejano singer here in San Antonio. And this is the Arneson River Theater.
Above the stage, there are 5 bells. They represent the 5 missions found in San Antonio.
There is actually a couple getting married behind me. So as I mentioned Marriage Island just a few minutes ago, there is a wedding going on right here. So the Arneson River Theater here is used for different events, concerts, weddings. I've seen graduations there. A very nice spot to rent out there. And it was also featured in the movie Miss Congeniality. So there was a scene from that movie that was filmed somewhere right over there on those steps. Yeah, it's such a nice and quiet area. I agree with you, Colleen. It's nice and quiet right now because it's still morning, but as the afternoon starts to come around and nighttime starts to set in, this area becomes quite crowded. We're on the part of the Riverwalk now that's a lot more touristy. So we'll definitely be seeing a lot more foot traffic, a lot more activity going on in this area. There are the Go Rio cruises, and you can take a tour on one of these boats. And that's another way to explore the Riverwalk. We are going to go around and then we will make our way north or continue our way north.
Again, from Mexico, the summer of 2002, 22 years ago, the sculptor Sebastian, friendship between the United States.
So it looks like they're setting up some shops here for Columbus Day tomorrow. I think the last time I was down here was on Labor Day. So usually on weekends and on holidays, you'll see people lined up here selling different items. So you have these small boutiques here that sell jewelry and clothing and all kinds of souvenirs. But this part of the Riverwalk here is actually man-made. So this area wasn't added until right about 1968, right when right when the World's Fair took place. So when the 1968 World's Fair took place, they wanted to connect the Riverwalk to Hemisphere Park, and they decided to dig out this trench here and add it to the Riverwalk. Got a waterfall right over here. I'll let you guys enjoy the sounds of the water really quickly. Hear like something going on right above me. I don't know what they're having up there. Could just be the sounds of the city here. We're coming up to Satali the Stargazer statue. So Satali is kind of a new addition to the Riverwalk. She's been here since 2022. She's a large statue, and she's gazing up at the stars. She's actually made up of several tons of Mexican volcanic ash. And she was designed by an artist named Pedro Reyes. So if you come to the Riverwalk, you might see Satali here. Right this way, you have the shops at River Center Mall. Here's some more places where you can get the shuttle or the riverboat. I'm not gonna walk in that direction, but there's a few shops and restaurants out that way. Tends to be quite busy.
Look at the baby. The baby almost not looking at the six pack. And the San Antonio da Padua was given by Portugal in 1968 for the World Cup. There is the San Antonio Rock thing from here line. You can access the
I just was trying to figure out what he was speaking.
That was a statue of San Antonio. So yeah, let's make our way around. Let's get out of this area here and continue onwards, because we do have quite a long way to go till we reach the end of the Riverwalk here. But thank you all for sticking around. There is the Tower Life building right behind those trees. That was the building that I was mentioning a little while ago. With the gargoyles on top.
Mais il y a comme un canon, il y en a.
Some more Day of the Dead artwork right there.
They were built as modular boxes on an assembly line. Never done before. I think they were
Sorry you guys, was a bit quiet there. Was trying to navigate through that crowd of people right in front of me. We have some jewelers right here on our right hand side. So as I was mentioning before, as you venture further into the Riverwalk, it does tend to get a lot more crowded than this, actually. But we're walking by Restaurant Row now. Now, if you're a fan of the singer Selena Quintanilla, or you're familiar with who she is, this is actually where she filmed the music video, right over here. So somewhere at one of these tables right here is where Selena filmed the music video for No Me Queda Más. I want to say it was this one right here, possibly. And the way that you know that it's the table or area where Selena filmed the music video is because you can actually see part of the umbrellas, and you can see part of the restaurant right behind her. So in that music video, Selena is given a white rose and she is broken up with right here on the Riverwalk in San Antonio. Don't know if you would want to get your heart broken here, because this is a very nice place. Some people say it's a very romantic place, especially at night when all of the lights are lit up here. You have a rainforest cafe right over here too. So this is that touristy part of the Riverwalk. Way different from the part of the Riverwalk where we started our live stream. And speaking of Selena, we'll actually be walking by Selena's bridge, or the bridge from the movie Selena. Yeah, romanticism comes in both ways, says Nabul. Excuse me. We're walking by several hotels here on the Riverwalk. Of course, many of these hotels are pretty expensive. You know, if you're looking for a place to stay here on the Riverwalk, don't really expect to find anything cheap. Many of these hotels will cost you about $1,000 or $2,000, maybe more. But we're coming up to Navarro Street now. So I think we just passed the Hard Rock Cafe. And now we're actually coming up to what they call Selena's Bridge, because it was actually featured in the movie Selena from 1997, starring Jennifer Lopez. Now, if you want to see the exact spot where that scene took place, right there between those two umbrellas. So if you stand right there between the two umbrellas, you'll actually get to see, you'll have a really good view of where Jennifer Lopez sat in the movie Selena. So I'm gonna let you guys enjoy this view really quickly while I get myself a drink of water. So enjoy the view of Selena's Bridge, everybody. Yeah, when do you have a view, you have a price. Yeah, definitely, that's true, Nabul. Ooh, see, Selena's Bridge.
My name is D. Butch. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be your guide today, folks. We're all going to go over your cruiser. Now, let's start with the safety rules. Okay, folks, safety first. Now, first of all, there's no standing up on corners. We all have to read these.
So we're on St. Mary's Street now. And we're gonna be exiting the touristy part of the Riverwalk now. And we're gonna walk all the way to the area called the Pearl, which is gonna take us about another 45 minutes or so. Maybe a bit more, but I'm committed to doing this entire walk here. So we'll look back here for a few seconds or a few minutes, and then we'll continue on with this live stream here. I've also got to see how much battery I have left in this thing too. Hold on one second, you guys. Just gonna check something really quickly. Okay, we should be good. Thank you guys for sticking around this long. I really appreciate it. Now, if you're just joining me, I am walking along the Riverwalk here in downtown San Antonio. I'm going to be walking the entire path. So I started several miles south in the neighborhood of Southtown, and I'm making my way up to the Pearl District. And I don't think I've live streamed this part of the Riverwalk before. So this part might be a little bit new to you guys that have that are not new to the channel, but you've been subscribed for some time here. We're coming up on Houston Street now. So there's a lot less tourists on this side here, a lot less of your bars and your restaurants. Right, thanks Nabul, I appreciate that. Who can refuse a nice walk here? You got it. I don't think live streaming it does it any justice though. I think some of you guys definitely have to visit San Antonio to actually see how long this Riverwalk actually goes, and to check out the scenery that's all around it. Good morning. Nice little waterfall right over there. So we're walking underneath Travis Street now. This is called the Travis Street Crossing. And I've walked this area quite a few times before, but first time doing it on a live stream. Hey, hello Manny Explorers, welcome. Thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning on in, everybody. Joining me on this nice, peaceful walk down the Riverwalk here in San Antonio. We are walking the entire Riverwalk today. So at the end of this live stream, you'll get to be able to say, hey, I went to San Antonio and I got to walk the entire Riverwalk, not just the downtown part with all the bars and all the restaurants, but you got to see a different side of San Antonio and a different side of the Riverwalk here. Now, one thing interesting about these paths here on the Riverwalk is they are not straight. They curve quite a bit, especially whenever you leave the area outside of downtown, and it tends to get very hilly in certain areas. But I think once I passed that other floodgate, should be a piece of cake to finish this entire walk here. Yeah, it's cool to see how it changes in different areas. Right, Manny? I agree with you. You might see some mosaic tiles along these walls here. So this looks like a mosaic tile of the actual Riverwalk path we're walking on right now. Yeah, the weather here is looking very nice, Manny. That's why I decided to do this walk today. Because I'd been wanting to do this walk here for quite a long time, and I just could never get around to it because the weather was too hot, or wasn't a good time for walking, I guess you could say. The weather wasn't just right, but yeah, this is very nice weather. This is what they call Goldilocks weather. It's not too hot, not too cold. Another one of these mosaic tiles here. Yeah, when I started this walk, we started in an area that was kind of like this, kind of quiet, a lot of trees, surrounded by nature. And then we kind of got into that busier part of downtown with all the crowds and all of the tourists, all of the bars, the restaurants. Quickly got out of that, and now we're back over here in this urban oasis. So shout out to Robert Hugman, the architect who designed this Riverwalk here in San Antonio. Not too many cities can say they have a path like this to walk through the middle of the city that connects different neighborhoods. Walking underneath St. Mary Street once again. Yeah, it's such a charming and romantic place, says Petya. I like these wooden benches right here on the river itself. Good place to sit down here and enjoy this view. So I'm gonna sit down here for just a minute or two. Grab me a drink really quickly, and then we'll continue our walk to the end of the Riverwalk, everybody. Now, one thing I will say I don't like about the Riverwalk is there are no bathrooms here. All right, I don't know if you guys heard me, but one thing I said I don't like about the Riverwalk is there are no bathrooms here. So unless you go into one of the hotels or one of the businesses back the other way, if you need to use the bathroom, there really aren't too many options here. So that would probably be, what is up with this gimbal? That would probably be the only downside to walking the Riverwalk this far, is you don't have access to public bathrooms. There we go. Some music playing up there. Right over here we've got the Tobin Center for the Performing Arts, and we have our Korean War Memorial. Unfortunately, we cannot go inside. It is fenced off and barricaded. But this memorial is dedicated to the brave service members with tie to San Antonio who received our country's highest military honor, the Congressional Medal of Honor. San Antonio's connection to the military runs deep. All of these soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines have a connection to this region. Some were born and raised here, and some entered military service here. Well, actually, we can walk through here. I didn't see that this was open. Let's check it out really quickly. Check out some of the names that are on these memorials. They even have President Theodore Roosevelt on here. He was actually awarded a Medal of Honor leading a daring charge up San Juan Hill near San Juan Hill, Santiago de Cuba in July of 1898. And then there are more of these memorial plaques right along the plaza here. This building right here, this is called the Tobin Center for the Performing Arts. So this is where they have different concerts and different events here throughout the year. It's a very interesting looking building. But let's keep going, making our way north. Should be heading towards Lexington Street now. And we are almost to the most northern floodgate here on the Riverwalk. See, what does this say here? Oh, here it talks about the communities that were along the Riverwalk here in San Antonio. So here's what the river looked like in the 1800s. And here's a little bit of indigenous history about some of the people that settled here in San Antonio before colonialization back in the 1700s when the Spaniards came here. Some construction of what the Riverwalk used to look like back then. And then of course, some history about the missions and how those missions are actually connected to the Riverwalk itself. So this part of the Riverwalk is, I would say it's fairly new. Of course, the river itself has been here for many, many centuries. But this part of the Riverwalk that we're walking on right now actually wasn't added until probably the early 2010s. So they decided to connect the northern part of the city with downtown, and then later they did the same with the south side of San Antonio, and they connected everything through this waterway here. But we are almost at the Hugman Dam. And then from there, we should almost be at the end of the Riverwalk. So here is an art piece. Trying to see what it says here. It says these are columns that change color as you walk through the river here. So these are stainless steel blocks of color that seem to shift to change as visitors walk or ride past them. We're walking uphill now. So we have walked quite a long way here. We're walking by Brooklyn Avenue now. Here's another stop for the river boats that we saw a little while ago when we were downtown. So you can actually catch one of those river boats, and it actually goes through this floodgate here. So here's another piece of that artwork that we saw back there. And again, these panels, they change colors as you walk down the Riverwalk here through the camera too much. But in order to get to the other side of the Riverwalk, we've got to go up these stairs. And right up to this floodgate here.
That's like, yeah, totally. That's where we went. So it's,
Hey, hello Cleo, thank you for joining. So that is one of the, that should be the last floodgate that we see along the Riverwalk here. We've seen about 4 of these so far already. So again, this is one of the dams that controls flooding here on the Riverwalk. So the farther you go on the Riverwalk, the more you'll see, but there are about 4 of those gates throughout this area. So there are 2 in Southtown, there's 1 near downtown, and then there is 1 right up here. Right here, this area is called the Museum Reach Project. And the reason that it's called that is because they connected the Riverwalk to the San Antonio Art Museum. But Cleo, we have walked quite a long way so far. And we still have quite a bit to go.
Okay, so, yeah, this still clocks 21 minutes.
I made a commitment that I was gonna walk the end, or walk to the end of the Riverwalk, and that's what I'm doing. So we are almost there, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, some beautiful, nice weather that we have here, Cleo. Yes, indeed. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the YouTube notifications there, Cleo. That seems to happen with a lot of other channels that I watch. I won't get a notification for them, even though I am subscribed and even though I am hitting the notification bell. But so glad you're here anyway. Passing up one of my favorite murals here on the Riverwalk. Very nice looking mural there for Day of the Dead, or Dia de los Muertos. Hold on one second, guys. The other problem I seem to be having is the gimbal. The gimbal seems to kind of just be going a little bit crazy and going in its own direction. So my apologies if the connection is, or sorry, not the connection, but my apologies if the camera is kind of swaying back and forth. I think the walking along all these curves here is kind of throwing it for a loop. But yeah, right along this area on the Riverwalk, you have not too many, you don't have too many hotels here, but you do have a few apartments that were built recently. So if you want to live on the Riverwalk, this is one area where you could definitely move to. We're walking by the VFW Post 76, the oldest post in all of Texas. So since the gimbal wants to act a little funny, I'm not gonna do too much pointing. I'm just gonna hold the camera and walk straight with it and let you guys just see what I'm seeing. Oh, well, thank you, Colleen. I appreciate that. We are walking through what's called the Sonic Passage. So believe it or not, this is a living piece of art right here. So transmission is unstable. We're walking by Elsewhere now. This is the Elsewhere garden, bar, and kitchen. Hey guys in the chat, let me know if you're still with me, because I'm getting a message saying that the transmission is unstable, but I can still see you guys.
Yeah, looks like we're okay over there. Yeah.
And remember, whatever you guys do, to live with passion. But this is a really cool bar right here, which I've actually live streamed from here before. I've live streamed from there a few times. Oh, thank you. You guys are back with me now. It had said that I lost the connection for a second. The San Antonio Art Museum is right over to our left-hand side. And that is the building that is right over there. So the San Antonio Art Museum was actually an old brewery back in the day. It was part of the Lone Star Brewery, and then it was converted over into a museum. Show you guys the museum there.
I know that you've offered that as a possibility before, and I'm like, but I don't see how it would work. It doesn't, you know? It doesn't. It doesn't mean what. Yeah, and then like they would be in the community then, or would I just be doing it like on Fridays with them or whatever? You know, which would be fine, you know. But just like I'm like, well then like we still don't have people to help get your perspective, and then it's something that I would need to ask the rest of the group about before I even broach spending more time with them. And see if it would be
some more artwork here along the Riverwalk. It says these tiles originated in Taiwan and they were part of the 1968 World's Fair, which we got to walk by that part of the Riverwalk earlier. So something I enjoy about walking on this area here is sometimes you do find this neat little artwork just placed here and there. But we are almost to the Pearl Brewery, which will mark the end of the Riverwalk for us. So my guess is it'll be about another 30 minutes or so. It'll be about another 30 minutes or so before we finally reach the end of the Riverwalk here. Ooh, there's some ducks here along the river right beside me. Here's a school of fishes coming up. A school of fishes right underneath the highway here.